I just recorded another half hour or something. I felt really great. Like I was really expressing things I hadn't before. Really like getting my thoughts out about radical positivity and well, I guess if it's still there, I can do it again. About things not being specific things. Yeah, I had like a really lucid rant, and it felt very good. And then I got this, system update bullshit, so totally canned that whole video. It erased everything that I had was saying, and I wasn't happy about that, and I'm not happy about that. I need to find a place to sleep because it's kind of sunsetting now. The first two videos were pretty negative, and then the last one quarter sort of summed it up and really brought in a lot more. I went into a lot of territory. It was a very good video. It was the best video I've made, and the best articulation of my best ideas. And what I said in that video, in a very powerful way, was that what's important is to envision you see, it's not easy to quickly say this, to quickly get to this point, but envision something that's so much better. Envision, being happy, but so much happier than what, I was saying like a million times. No, it was a million times. Love being a million times more than what you would think is the most love. Happiness being a billion times more than what you think is your happiest, and that getting exponentially more. And experiencing emotions that aren't happiness or love, but transcend those. Or experiencing something that transcends even emotion, or something that transcends even being a thing. And not just to imagine these, but to live them and to live them and to live something that's more than what the best life is. The best life is nothing compared to this. And that people aren't their pain, and they're not their suffering. They're not their problem. And that the problem with talking about anything is you're missing the whole story, because you're talking about so that there's always so much more. I don't know if I said this in the other one, but that I feel like people that think about things and solve problems are not, experiencing like radical happiness and radical love all the time. So that's not in their story, whatever they're talking about. And that you can't fix a problem because then that's the same thing that I was saying in the other one. But this, I was talking about social justice specifically, and how it doesn't work. And if it did work, it would be over with. And how it's existed for a very, very long time. But if it were a solution, it wouldn't exist for a long time. And how you found out about it a few years ago in college, but it's existed for a very long time. Way before. It wouldn't work. Solutions work. Solutions work. And I was speaking more specifically about these sort of transcendent emotions, but transcendent, beyond emotions, and beyond the idea of them. Beyond the idea of them. Beyond. Language is, the issue with language is you can only use the words that are already in it. But if you've ever been outside of the grid, you know the words don't talk about it, but it's, it's realer than the shit the words talk about, like a lot more. Language gives you the tools to talk about mostly just language. You say love. Yeah, it's a word. You're talking about, stuff where there aren't enough words. It's like if every word meant love, or a different facet of love, you still wouldn't be talking about it at all. And I don't care. It's like I don't need language to talk about, but I'm just trying to, right now, express something to you. It's not words. Because it's not an it, that was the other thing. It's like things are not its. They're not thes or us. That doesn't exist, And the smallest unit is things. But that's one unit. And it's a lot. Maybe 1 million should be the smallest number. A billion. Smaller doesn't really exist than that. But it's not a billion that's a collection of individual ones. It's just a billion. It's not like the things aren't ones. I don't know what to say. I'm fucking thirsty. Blessing in disguise, that other video failed. Can talk a little more. Just trying to not miss anything because the continuity is important. Yeah. So that was what I was daring, that I said that in the other one, someone's daring to talk about what isn't being talked about, and what isn't being talked about, because a lot of people talk about what isn't being talked about, but what isn't that? Because I've felt that before. And that's what you get when you... Not that there are rich kids that don't, there are rich kids that suffer, but... Before you learn about pain, you experience something that's just... I can't explain it. I can't explain it. Because everyone gets sad when you become an adolescent. But there's that time I don't know what to say. I just lost words for it. I said things in the last one. I don't know if that articulated anything, but that video's gone anyways, but just that there's... I mean, when I was a kid, like, I would dream and think about shit, and that was normal, like... See, the other video was great, because this one's great, too. This is probably something I just need to keep talking about every day. Oh. What the fuck are you talking about? That you want to win a fucking cruise vacation so that you can be upset somewhere else? Or that you can need to spend $1 less at McDonald's to eat alone? That's the philosophy really behind it, is that nobody gives a shit, is because what people are fighting for is mediocrity. What they're fighting for is empty, and everyone who has money knows that they're not happy, and everyone who doesn't have money, knows that money would, make their life a lot better, but nobody's inspired to fight for being rich, because being rich means you're not suffering. It means you're not dealing with horrible, that's what it means. That's really, I guess that's really, yeah, okay, so this isn't really a spiritual idea. It's just that having money, health, safety, what that means is that your life isn't bad. But nobody is inspired for things to be not bad, you know what I mean? Like, nobody cares about making other people's lives not bad. I think that if people knew that they could actually give people lives that were good, then they would give a fuck. If people knew that their lives could be good. And I mean, the language I'm using here is good, meaning just like radically beyond everything that, we think of as being the best possible life. And bad is so much worse than what we think of as being bad. But, that's what I believe. I don't think that there's anything really else. I mean, other than, I guess I was talking about that in the other, I was talking about the social justice left shit. I don't know if that video got lost too. I don't know if that one's up. But it exists and it's real, and I've seen it, and I know that a lot more than it exists, and I know that a lot more than what I can imagine or think of exists. This is a much better video than the last one, because it's nothing to be excited about. It's not beautiful. It's yours. Ecstasy should be like worst case scenario. And people are dynamic, these people that are talked about as marginalized, they're more than, they're probably, the thing is, people see themselves as being so small. But people are so much more than that. And that means you, but it also means other people. You're not animals. It's just like people's idea for what a person is. It's just like, but I see it and I believe it. And I'll start to live it all the time, and I'll talk about it. But it can be lived. As an event and as a venting. Event ties an adventurer. This is great. And that love is so much more than there are words to talk about it. And I said that in this video already. But only about living it. I'm not talking about meditating, and I'm talking about lying to yourself.